Okay, homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dhamma, and homage to the Noble Sangha. Today meditation is about Eightfold Path. So you can see the Noble Eightfold Path that is written in the website, that we have this right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So what is the right view? Right view is the knowledge of suffering, knowledge of the origin of suffering, knowledge of the cessation of suffering, and the knowledge of the way of practice leading to the cessation of suffering. That is understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So then the Four Noble Truths that Buddha explained, and there are these four. First one, Buddha says, Noble Truth of Suffering. And what marks is the Noble Truth of Suffering? Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and so on. Buddha was talking about 12 terms of suffering. And that we will look at later in greater detail. And then Buddha said this suffering is caused by the craving. So that is the Noble Truth of origin of suffering. It is this craving which gives rise to rebirth, accompanied by pleasure and delight, finding fresh delight now here and now there. That is to say, craving for sensuality, craving for existence, craving for non-existence. So there are three types of craving here. So what is this craving for sensuality? Let us say that you work and earn money, and then at the end of the month you pay quite a lot of bills. Your electricity bill, gas bill, and the rent for the house, and so on. So there is no fun doing that one. But then after paying all those things, let us say you end up with sort of $10. That is what you left with. So now you think, I will go and have a fun from this $10, and you go to the mango dealer and you are looking to buy mango. The mango dealer is selling two types of mango. That one type is a bit expensive. They are like polished mangoes, no insect bites, and so on. So that pile he is actually selling for $20 or more. The rotten pile, where we have this, insect bites and so on, that one he is selling $10 or less. So now you think that it is a gain for me. I will buy this one. What I have is $10. I will buy this rotten mango, cut down the rotten part and eat. And you are thinking it is a gain, because when you cut down a mango, the rotten part, you get about 3/4 of the mango. And if I have to spend $20, then I can get 1.5 of that one. So when you eat the mango, you get the pleasure. So that pleasure becomes the craving for sensuality. So this craving for sensuality is now established, and then now you define your life. Now you think, this is what I am going to do. Let me earn money, pay the bills, and save $10, eat a mango, and live the life. That is your happiness, and I live. So you define your life. So from that one, you can see that you get the craving for the existence. Now you feel like existing because that there is some sort of a pleasure out of the mango. If you were to pay all the bills and no fun, then you wouldn't define. So after some time you are saying, it's okay for me not to have that mango, but whatever way, if I can have the pleasure that came out when I was eating the mango, the feeling, and then I am fine. So that is the craving for non-existence. In other words, the craving for non-existence does not mean that you do not want to exist, but it would rather say, I am happy to live apart from the mango. That is what you are saying. So that is the craving for non-existence. The Craving for sensuality led to the craving for existence. You define your life, you want to exist. And then the craving for existence led to the craving for non-existence, that I would live without the mango, but I still demand, let me have the pleasure that I used to have when I was eating the mango. So it's a class. So in the third noble truth, Buddha is saying, it is the complete fading away and extinction of this craving, its forsaking and abandonment, its liberation from it, detachment from it, and that is the noble truth of cessation of suffering. That's how the cessation comes about. So Buddha is saying that I is enticing and pleasurable. This is where the craving gets established, and this is the place for us to remove that craving as well. So then we come back to the noble truth of the way of practice leading to the cessation of suffering, Eightfold Path. How can we get rid of this one? We need to come to the Eightfold Path. So now we are back into the Eightfold Path. So we have the right view again. So once we have gone through the right view and we come back to the Eightfold Path, so therefore we are back in the right view. So in the first, we learn the right view, that is the understanding about the suffering. And there is this cause of suffering, that is the craving. So would you rather keep on repeating this one, now it is suffering and this is caused by craving? It's like a man who is actually is with a trouble, he's saying it is suffering. And then somebody is asking, so why is it suffering? It's because of the craving, Buddha is saying. So it's like a repeating, like a parrot. So, and not doing anything. So normally a person with a wisdom would think, okay, it's the craving that creates this problem, let me get rid of it. So that leads to the renunciation. So since I understand it is suffering, the suffering is created by this craving, I am happy to give up. So that led to the thought of renunciation. So now we are coming to the right view, we come to the right thought. So in the right thought, we have thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming. These three things are linked to each other. For example, let us say that you see an advertisement on TV that a pie-rice dish has been reduced to 50%. So you want to buy a pie-rice dish and you go to the supermarket. By the time other people have seen this ad before you, they have bought it. So now only one left. Two people are running to grab the same pie-rice dish. So what will happen? One would be dragging in his direction, the other person would be dragging that person's direction. So there will be a fight. So if one is less greedy, that person would be saying, it's okay for me not to have this one, you have it. So the other person will say, thank you, and take it. So there is no fighting over there. So in other words, to the extent I can give up a pie-rice dish, to that extent I have this calmness, I don't have the ill will. So to the level I have the thought of renunciation, to that extent I have the thought of non-malevolence. To the extent that I have thought of non-malevolence, that non-ill will, to that extent I have thought of non-harm. So giving up always, lead to these things. So these three things are linked in that way, now form three paths. It forms this non-hate, non-greed, non-hate, non-delusion path. Thought of renunciation is non-greed path. Thought of non-malevolence is non-hate path. Thought of non-harming is non-delusion path. So now I am actually following a good path. I am coming from right view to right thought. I am going through the non-greed path. If there are anything in the greed path, that would be an obstruction to me. So I should be giving up. What are the things that are in the greed path? The line is in the greed path. So since line is in the greed path, I am following through the non-greed path, I would be giving up line. So you can see now from the right thought, you come to the right speech. And again, I am following through the thought of non-malevolence path, that is non-hate path. It is in the hate path that we have slander and the harsh speech. So since I am following the non-malevolence path, non-hate path, I will be giving up the slander and the harsh speech. And I am following through the non-harming path, that means non-delusion path. It is in the delusion path that we have frivolous talks. So frivolous talks lead to delusion, delusion lead to frivolous talks. So I will be giving up frivolous talks. So now you can see from the right view, we come to the right thought. In other words, right thought proceeds from the right view. And similarly, right speech proceeds from the right thought. Without the right thought, I wouldn't get this one. And again, I am following through the thought of renunciation. That means non-greed path. It is in the greed path that we do have this stealing. So I am following the non-greed path. Therefore, I will be refraining from taking what is not given. And again, I am following through the non-malevolence, that is non-hate path. So it is in the hate path that we have killing. Since I am following the non-hate path, I will be giving up killing, taking life. And it is in the delusion path that we do have sexual misconduct. Since I am following through the non-delusion path, I will be giving up sexual misconduct. So you can see, so we have come up to the right action here. From the right action, we get right livelihood. Here it says the Aryan disciple, having given up wrong livelihood, keeps himself up with the right livelihood. In other words, a monk would not be even drawing a line in the sand because that little creatures can die. They don't cut these trees and so on. Although Buddha mentioned in those terms, what Buddha meant was a very big thing hidden underneath that right livelihood. And it was Sampati Mahabrahma who told me that it is from the right livelihood you get rid of the conceit I am, the arrogance. And I will explain that one with an example. Let us say there is a starvation time on earth, there are no food, but fortunately in your house you have 2 packets of noodles. Now you have eaten and 2 packets of noodles are left in your cupboard. And then you go to the street and look, and then you can see people are going here and there looking for food. So what is the thought that is coming to your mind? Is it the thought that, oh, these poor people looking for food? Or is it the thought that I have 2 packets of noodles at home? So it is the thought that I have 2 packets of noodles at home is the one coming into your mind. This become apparent. Normally you can see that if you have cancer, someone is having a cancer and then he is coming and telling you that I have cancer, then straight away you say, I also have it. That person did not ask you whether you have the cancer. And your one is the one that's coming up. So you can see that because of this, you have the arrogance. I have 2 packets of noodles at home. Not only 2 packets of noodles that you have houses, you have the children, pets and so on, cars. So every one of them will count. Every one of them will lead to this conceit, the arrogance. I am. I saw this one in a temple. One day we took alms food for the monk, and after eating, he was saying that we did not have food yesterday. And we were very sad and we were talking, and then the monk was smiling. And then we were asking why. Then he was saying that there were 2 packets of noodles in the temple, and then we boiled them and we ate. So we didn't have any problems. So you see that because of these 2 packets of noodles, the monk became sort of arrogant about it. So otherwise he would be thinking, now this is the And he would be thinking, this is the problem this household is having. This is the trouble for him. That's why he is going to work, take this much pain and so on. And I am subject to the same suffering. So that he would not be going to arrogance. That's why Buddha is not allowing monks to have any food in the premises. They cannot even keep salt in their premises, so that they can see that this is the suffering. This is the suffering for everyone. And so you can see that because of the wrong livelihood, we have this conceit. So here we have two things here. The right actions and the right livelihood. These two form something called the Bhavitakaya, or the development of the body in the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path meditation consists of 4 meditations. The Bhavitakaya, development of the body, development of virtue, development of mind, and development of wisdom. So this Bhavitakaya, development of body, has got right action and the right livelihood. From doing that one, what you get is the concentration due to desire, Chanda Samadhi. The Chanda Samadhi, or concentration due to desire, means that once you understood that the consciousness cannot be maintained, whatever way you do, it is dying. So when you understand that one, then you get rid of the desire for the not lasting consciousness, and then you get the desire for the lasting Nibbana. So that is the concentration due to desire. From what we get that from? From the right action. How do we get that one? You see, the right action, if I don't have the right action, what do I have? I have the wrong action. That is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So if I am killing someone, then I will take a strong, long breath that I will kill this person, this animal. Without it, you can't do that one. You can't even think to kill without taking a long breath. And then when you lift up a knife to kill that creature, then again do you take a long breath. And when you are stabbing to kill that one, then also you take a long breath. So let us say I am not going to do that one. I am not going to kill. I am not going to think to kill. Then I would not be taking long breath for that. And I am not going to lift up a knife. So I am not going to take a long breath for that one. I am not stabbing. So I am not taking long breath for that one. In other words, the cessation of inhaling and exhaling. So that is the 4th jhana concentration. With the 4th jhana concentration, then you get the concentration due to desire, Chanda Samadhi. And also, Sunday afternoon, you normally get a long breath. You do not know why it is. All of a sudden you do that one. And then you come to mindfulness and then you remember, this is because I have to go to work tomorrow. So going to work is considered as stealing. So that in other words, you are taking a long breath or doing this stealing. If I am not going to do the stealing, then you are not going to take that long breath. So that means the cessation of inhaling and exhaling. And from that one you get the 4th jhana concentration. From the 4th jhana concentration you get the concentration due to desire. So what is helping us to have this right action? It is the right livelihood. You see, can you take a plate in your hand and go to your next door neighbor and say, please, I'm trying to watch TV, have children, have fun, going to have a wonderful life, please help me to do that. Then he will chase you out, isn't it? But for a monk, he can go with this in an arms round, he can go and say, I am having known that it is suffering. I am trying to end this suffering. Please help me. So the other person will help. On the other hand, you can see these days you have been trained by people saying, this is how you should live. You should study, earn money, and then you live standing on your own feet, not asking for anybody else's help. That's how you should be living. So Buddha is saying, no, it is not the correct way if you want to end the suffering. Buddha is saying that you need to give up all these things and then go in this, like a monk who's going in the ashram. That's the way to live. So our conceit, our arrogance is actually preventing us from, can I go to the other person's house and say, you have been trained, live a life like this, earn money and pay the bills and live a life. So our conceit is preventing us from doing that one. So you can see the right livelihood. If I have the right livelihood, then I don't have the conceit, and therefore I can go and ask for the help from the others. So from the right action, then we get the concentration due to desire. And there is a one coming above, one below, and that is right speech and right effort. So this development of virtue consisting of right speech and the right effort. By doing that one, you get the concentration due to mind, or the chitta samadhi, concentration due to mind. So how do we understand the concentration due to mind? Let us say you are studying for an exam, and then two people are coming nearby you, and then they talk rubbish, frivolous talks. They keep on talking. So it's a trouble for you. You can't study. But let us say these two people are now far away. Somebody chased them away. They are now talking far away. You can't hear. But aren't you now blaming them from your mind? These two people over here talking rubbish, not allowing me to do my work. And so they are not here, but something is rambling inside your mind. And you are going for their words as well. What they were talking about. They were talking about this particular thing. What's the use of that one? And then you are rambling. So that this thing is called vitakka vichara in Pali, or the initial application and sustained application. Sometimes translated as thought and examination. Examining what they were talking about, those words. So this initial application is something like, let's say, a bee is coming to the flower. That is initial application. The sustained application is it's gyrating around the flower. Or else, let us say, you see someone is coming far away, you recognize it as a person. So that is initial application. Or else your thought. And then that person is coming close by, and then you see that this person has got long hair, so therefore that person is a woman, or the short hair, so therefore it's a man. So then you sort of examining these characteristics and sort of get into that one. That is called vichara, or the sustained application. So using the initial application and sustained application, we utter a speech. So if I have this samma vacha, or the right speech, then I am not uttering a speech. What we can actually utter? We can either say it is suffering, and this is the cause of suffering and the cessation of suffering, or the path leading to cessation of suffering. That's all we can say. If you have compassion for anyone, Buddha said that is all you can say, nothing else. So if I say this curry is yummy, this is tasty and so on, this all counted as the wrong speech. So then you can see, if I have the right speech, either I talk about the noble truth or I will be silent. So that means the cessation of the initial application and sustained application, that means the cessation of, we are going to the cessation of verbal formations. So you are going to the second jhana concentration. From the second jhana concentration, you are going to the cessation of verbal formations. So that is right speech. Right speech was actually leading to the concentration due to mind. From the second jhana, and you go into this state. And what is helping us to have this right speech is the right effort. So the right effort is fourfold. The first It says here a monk rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind and strives to prevent the arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome mental states. So what are the unarisen, evil, unwholesome mental states? They are the sensual thought, ill will thought and the harming thought. So do you have sensual thought, ill will thought, harming thought at this particular moment? You don't have that. But you had it before. So that particular thought died, no longer here. But you know, when you go out to the street, when you see beautiful persons, beautiful women, beautiful children, men and so on, beautiful clothes, you get this sensual thought. And if you see someone you do not like to see, you get ill will thought. So in other words, we are good at home. When we are going out to the street, we get this sensual thought, ill will thought and harming thought. So having known this one, he put effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind and strives to prevent the arising of sensual thought, ill will thought and the harming thought. So you can see this is before. Before arising, we put some effort not to have it. So that is the first step. And then there is the second effort. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind and strives to overcome evil, unwholesome mental states that have arisen. So what are the unwholesome mental states that have arisen and persist within us? They are greed, hate and delusion. Do we have greed all the time? We don't have greed all the time. When you have hate, you don't have greed. And so we don't have hate all the time, but we do have delusion all the time. So having known that you have this, if you have the delusion, then you get the greed and hate. Having known that these things are there, then you put effort to get rid of those greed, hate and delusion. So someone may be wise, maybe some wise person may be thinking, well, how come then little while ago I said that I am following through the Eightfold path. In the first effort I said I am following through the non-greed, non-hate, non-delusion path. Because thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming, I put those effort over there not to have them. Then how come I get greed, hate and delusion? Well, it is not like that. Let us say on a rainy day, a muddy water is coming to your garden. Then first day you tolerated it. You let it happen because you were lazy going in the rainy day and fixing that particular land. And the next day also you can see when it is raining, the muddy water is coming. You tolerated that day as well. Third day you went. You said that I can't tolerate it anymore and you went and fixed it. But isn't the muddy water that came to your garden is already there in the garden. So this is the muddy water. We took it. So therefore it is there with us. So although we now say we don't want sensual thought, ill thought, harming thought, the greed, hate, delusion is there because the delusion is here. So therefore we are going to get rid of those things. So this is something that has already arisen. So that is to overcome those things that have arisen. That in other words, here we remove greed, hate and delusion. So you can see this is to the unskilled states side, unwholesome side, there are two efforts. First, before it is coming, you are trying to prevent. Now after arising, you are trying to get rid of it. And to the skill side, there are two as well. So that is one of them we are going to learn next. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind and strives to produce unarisen, wholesome mental states. So what are the unarisen, wholesome mental states? Here someone who has not attained to this noble attainment like stream enter, sotapan, once return, never return, and arahant state. He think, let me attain to those states. He wants to have the faith of a person who has attained to such a state. So this is his effort. So there's something you do not have, you are going to put effort to have it. So that is, you can see, trying to produce skill states. So it is in the skill size, wholesome side. And then the fourth effort. He rouses his will, makes an effort, stirs up energy, exerts his mind, and strives to maintain wholesome mental states that have arisen, not to let them fade away, to bring them to greater growth, to the full perfection of development. So what are the things, wholesome mental states that have arisen? In the third effort, we said we want to have the faith of a stream enterer. The stream enterer, when he is in that state, that is a stream enterer state, in that state he is not regarding anything as mind in the world. So his mind becomes vast, expanded. So someone may be confused that this is the Nibbana. But this person knows that this is not the Nibbana. This expanded state of mind is not the Nibbana. So having known that one, then he tried to maintain that one for the purpose of developing the other higher skill states. Like if you are a stream mentor, you want to go to the once return or never return. So he knows that I need to maintain this state so that I can go into the higher states and then eventually destroy these canker states. So it is something that you have then, and then you are trying to maintain it. So it's a post thing. So you can see the pre and post things are working here in the skill side as well as the unskilled side. So those four efforts are important. So now you can see we have the development of body. That one is leading to the cessation of our physical actions and bhavita kaya. And then there is the development of virtue consisting of right speech and right effort. And that one leads to cessation of verbal actions. So the physical actions and the verbal actions are now stopped with these two. And there is a one above right speech and one below. So one above is right thought, and the below we get the right concentration. It's not the right mindfulness, we get the right concentration. So that is called the bhavita chitta, or development of mind, consisting of these two. When we have that, what we get is the concentration due to effort, or virya samadhi in Pali. So in this particular one, we are going to get rid of some mental actions. The mental actions like envy, disparaging, and derogation, that sort of mental actions we are going to get rid of. Not totally get rid of all the actions, which we learn in the next meditation session. Because the previous one, with the development of the body, you can see we got rid of the physical actions. And then the next one, the development of the virtue, we got rid of these verbal actions. Now we are going to get rid of the mental actions, not the complete mental actions, some part of it. What is helping me to do that one? The right thought. The thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harm. And what is helping us is the right concentration to have the right thought. You see, the right concentration we get from the right thought, but then it is actually paying back. So what is right concentration? Here a person is, apart from this sensual desire, with the seclusion, he is going to the first jhana concentration, with the initial application, sustained application, vitakka vichara, and he has got the rapture, and then we get the concentration, rapture, pleasure, and the concentration is there. So you can see, in other words, what is our initial application, sustained application there is the thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming. That means it is the right thought. So we are actually concentrating our mind around giving up. Thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harming. That's what I want. So I make my mind, together, compose, so that I don't do those things. So there is this first jhana, second jhana, third and fourth jhana concentration. So now you can see there are 6 parts in the Eightfold Path. And here, development of the body, development of virtue, development of mind. And that one, development of body, led to the cessation of physical actions, development of virtue, led to the cessation of the verbal actions, development of mind, led to cessation of some mental actions. So there's a one above, one below. So what is above is the right view and the right mindfulness. And that is this development of wisdom. And by doing that one, what we get is the concentration due to investigation or the Vimamsa Samadhi. Over here, you are actually getting rid of completely the greed, hate and delusion, and thereby you achieve the cessation of all the mental actions. So, right mindfulness, from the right view, we get the right mindfulness. What is right mindfulness? In a nutshell, we can say it is this: you understand that such is form, such is the arising of form, such is the passing away of form, arising and passing away phenomena, which we are going to learn in a little while. So Buddha in Satipatthana Sutta, mindfulness, meditation, Buddha was talking about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, where we have the mindfulness regarding the body, mindfulness regarding the feeling, mindfulness regarding the thought, and mindfulness regarding the doctrine, teaching. This is 4-fold. So now you can see we have these 4 meditations: development of body, development of virtue, development of mind, and the development of wisdom. So now we got the Eightfold Path. So cessation of the physical action, cessation of the verbal action, cessation of the some mental action, and complete cessation of all the mental actions achieved by the development of wisdom. If you know completely what you are getting is suffering, then you can have the complete ending. So right thought proceeds from the right view. Since we understood that it is suffering, and this suffering is created by this craving, and you gave up, so that led to thought of renunciation. And that became 3 paths: thought of renunciation, thought of non-malevolence, thought of non-harm. So non-greed, non-hate, non-delusion path. So then you gave up this wrong speech and arrive at right speech. So similarly, right action proceeds from the right speech, and the right mindfulness proceeds from the right effort. Right concentration proceeds from the right mindfulness. Right knowledge proceeds from the right concentration, and the right liberation proceeds from the right knowledge. So an RN who has destroyed cankers, total ending, then that person has got 8 things. Person who is following the Eightfold Path has got 8 things over here. So the right view is then very important. So the best discourse to understand this Eightfold Path is the Great 40 Discourse, Mahachattarika Sutta in the middle and saying. Over there Buddha is saying, before the right view, Buddha was talking about the wrong view. In the wrong view, Buddha said that one is thinking, there is no father, there is no mother, there is no result of sacrifice, there is no other words, there is no recluses or Brahmins who knows about other worlds, and so on. So this one is completely a lazy person's talk. You see, the lazy person, when he was actually not learning, his mother showed him sort of a lesson. That person was taken to the street and shown to him, a person who is actually sweeping cleaning up the street, and say, if you don't learn, then you will end up like that one. So this lazy person learned, and now he is actually earning money. And then he got a bottle at home and some bites to go with it, and he is eating and enjoying. And his mother is going to the temple wearing white clothes, meditating, practicing virtue and so on. Now he is saying to the mother, mother, there is no other worlds. If he actually say that if he admit that there is another world, then he has to do something about it, because he will be going there. So if you deny the fact that there is no birth after this one, then all is well, isn't it? You don't have to do anything. You can just eat and kill, steal, whatever way it is. So, because the mother did not have psychic powers, if the mother did have psychic powers, she could have shown, look, this person did this bad thing and then he was born in this nether world, in the hell. So, this is the lazy person's thing, that he has got this wrong view. And opposed to this one, there is this right view. That right view, Buddha is saying that it is twofold. First, there is a mundane right view, there is a supramundane right view. The mundane right view is that this person is now saying there is this mother, there is father. If you deny there is no father, there is no mother, even for the lazy person, there was a teacher. So he is now saying there is this teacher as well. And he understands there is this result of sacrifice and so on. So that's why, because of this right view, that you are actually offering alms to the Buddhist monks and you are doing this charity. Otherwise, you don't do that one either. Why do you give somebody anything? Because there is no result. Because now you understand there is a result of doing that one, so therefore you do this. So that right view, Buddha is saying, with cankers, it has got tails. You will be born because of this one. And then Buddha said that there is this right view that without those effluents, those cankers, taints, and that is this noble right view. And that in that case, Buddha was explaining that this noble right view is a wisdom of a person who has attained to your stream mantra, once written, never written, fruit. So that person's wisdom, the faculty of wisdom, the power of wisdom, that is the right view. Or else Buddha said is the person who has gone into this cankerless state, who has destroyed taints. That person's wisdom. The cankerless state means that, let us say that normally when you see a coconut tree, in your mind you are actually writing an essay. Inside it you say that this coconut is good for you, I can eat them, and then coconut husk can be used, in various ways, and the leaves can be used for the hut, for the roof, and then those wood pieces can be used as well. So always there is an essay with you regarding this thing. Even if you see an apple tree, you get this particular song, an apple a day keeps the doctor away and so on. Those days, previous days apples, isn't it? Not today apple. So those type of things are coming up. Even you see some sort of a weed, you are thinking, it would be better not to have this weed, something that I can eat should be there. In the cankerless state, you would see an apple tree or coconut tree, but there is no essay to go with it. What the essay is actually describing is how that particular plant is helping you to live your life, how it is helping. So for that monk, there is no such a story. He is not thinking about the maintaining and living with that thing. So the mind is stopped like a bicycle wheel, just about to be stopped, going to the right, coming to the left, stop in the middle, like this, and the mind is stopped. And then Buddha said, the right view is that someone who has attained to the path, the attainment has got the path and the fruit. So the path attainment is there, and that person's wisdom. faculty of wisdom, power of wisdom, that is the right view. And then Buddha said, the person who is developing the Eightfold Path, at that particular time, that whatever the wisdom, power of wisdom, faculty of wisdom, that is what the right view is. So you are developing the Eightfold Path. When you are developing the Eightfold Path, then all of a sudden, sometimes you get this thing, yes, that it is right. What Buddha said is right. That there is this suffering. This suffering is caused by this craving. Or else that there is this birth. So therefore we have this suffering. And this birth is caused by the craving for existence. The non-existent those things, or the taint of existence. Those things are coming to you. So that wisdom. So that is what we are trying to achieve by these 4 days. What we are trying to achieve is those wisdom. So this wisdom is that right view. Then we need to look at in greater detail, because without the right view we don't get any of these things. So as we discussed a little while ago, that we were looking at the right view, and then it says it is the understanding about the suffering, understanding about the cause of suffering, understanding about the cessation of suffering, understanding about the way of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So let's look at the first noble truth out of those 4. And it says, noble truth, what monk is the noble truth of suffering? Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress are suffering. Union with what is displeasing is suffering. Separation from what is pleasing is suffering. Not getting what one wants is suffering. In short, the 5 aggregates of grasping are suffering. So let us go through minor details of each one of these. Birth is suffering. So now Buddha is explaining what monk is the birth. Whatever beings, whatever group of beings, there is birth, coming to be, coming forth, the appearance of the aggregates, the acquisition of the sense spaces, that monk is called. So we need to look at this birth in greater detail. So there is this birth, whatever group of beings. Where are the places that we will be born? We will be born in hell, animal realm, and the plane of departed, human world, and the divine world, and the Brahma world. So let us look at and analyze those 6. So first we take the hell. So hell, where is the hell? When 2 people are fighting, husband and wife is fighting at home, one person is saying, this is the hell. I have heard someone saying like that. Although they are saying such a thing, but this is not the hell. This is sort of human world. And some people are saying then when they were digging, then they hear some sort of noise coming underneath. They think that hell is underneath this earth. But this is not the hell. There is no hell underneath this plate over here. So where are the hells? Hells are those planets. The Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, and those so on. What we have already discovered, what we have not discovered. There are hells, so many hells. So there are 136 of them. For the Mars, you know that the Americans have sent a machine. Now I have seen that machine. I can travel by mind-made body. I went there with Sampati Mahabrahma. There was nothing to see in that particular machine. It's just, dust is accumulated like a bicycle handle over there. And then I was asking Sampati Mahabrahma, is there hell over here? He said yes. And he took me that day. And those machines, it won't be easy to find that one. Because, there are these craters. So you need to go underneath those craters to find it. And they are also discovering little by little. If you search from the internet, from the Google, unusual hole in the Mars, you get a nice picture in the Mars. And there is this opening, like a well type thing, but in a well, normally you can see the walls of that well, but here no walls. And underneath those places, they were thinking those days that the water must be inside this one, and the living beings are there underneath this one. So they are right. Actually, the hell is inside that one. Living beings are living underneath that one. And recently they found water in Mars and also in Pluto. Pluto has got 19 hells in it. And then the Jupiter, the biggest one, has got 70 hells. It has got 50 moons. It's so big, and that is like a gas giant, but you need to go underneath that one. On those planets, they can't live on the top of the planet. Either it is cold or hot, so they live underneath. So those are the hells. And in Buddha is describing these characteristics that exist in those hells. In something called Bala Pandita Sutta, the wise and fool discourse, there Buddha said that various punishments are there in the hell. They are putting these hot things on their bodies and the ways that they get killed. And Buddha said, although he described in a greater detail, still the description won't end over here because so many hells. And Venerable Mahamoggallana, he is also explaining in something called Mara Tajjana Sutta, that is the reboot to the Mara. And he was actually giving that discourse to the existing Mara, the evil one. And Venerable Moggallana said that the current existing evil one is actually his nephew. When he was, Venerable Moggallana has been a Mara, evil one, when he was called Dusing. And by that time, he took a form of a small child and threw out a stone and hitting one of the chief disciples of one of the previous Buddhas. And that chief disciple was bleeding and walking, and Buddha is in front, but in that time, Buddha looked back. Buddha does not normally look like us, we look left, right, and so on. Buddha is just looking down and walking. It's very rare for a Buddha to turn his body and look back. And in this instance, Buddha did that one, and Buddha said, you exceed the limit. As soon as Buddha said that one, the Mara, the evil one, Dusing, by that time, that he, one of the Moggallana's previous births, he was passed away from that one and then born in hell. And Venerable Moggallana explained, when he was born in hell, he had a body like a human being, and the head like a fish. And then they sent a metal pipe thing through his body, which lasted 1,000 years. And then when it is actually falling, another one was sent through the body and so on. So much suffering. I have been born in hell, the 40 births backward. I was born in hell. I suffered. Therefore, I lived there 2,100 years. What makes me go in there is the birth before that one. I was killing living beings. Those days people are asking for fresh meat, and in my garden I had this cows bound by these ropes. So they come and say, cut this particular piece and give it to me from that particular point. So while the animal is living, I cut it and give it to those people, selling it and make a living out of it. After death, I was born in hell. When I was born in hell, the birth in hell is spontaneous. Not like that going to a mother's womb and coming like that one is spontaneous arising. So over there, those living beings in hell, they got hold of me, and it's like a dentist chair type thing. They let me lie down on that one. Two people are holding my hands, And the machine that we have to cut these trees, pruning and so on, so to handle some sort of metal thing, but this particular machine has got so many pieces. One thing was a clip, so that clip they attach to my hand and put a screw and locking it so that I can't take it away. And then through those clip, there are holes in that clip, and then they put screws to my flesh. And now screws are inside the flesh, and then squeeze the handle. When they squeeze the handle, it started rotating. So it is taking the flesh out of the hand. And it's very painful. See, I contemplated these things by going to the seventh jhana, and that's the best place to contemplate about the past births. And I found my hands are bound, so I can't actually take it. But my legs are free. It is coming towards my body, and then I got fainted. So they stopped punishing me that day, and then next day they grab hold me again. And there's a chemical, very strong chemical in the hell. It's called lodhya. Over there, it's actually something like a sulfuric acid. That if you put sulfuric acid to your hand, then it is going looking for water. This one is stronger than the sulfuric acid. And so they attach sulfuric acid type thing to that clip, and then they put it to my wounded place, and then it's burning, chiri and burning. You see, you can't even put surgical spirits to the wound. It is painful. And now think about putting acid to that. So I couldn't tolerate it. Then I got fainted again. And then they stopped punishing that day. And next day also, they grabbed hold of me again. And then they attach, that machine has got few pieces. So they attach two clips to the one left side of the wound and another one to the right side of the wound. They squeeze it. And then these two clips started separating. So in other words, they remove my flesh from my hand like removing the gloves. That is what I did, isn't it? While living, I was killing animals, removing the flesh and giving to others. So then my consciousness lied that one. That's why I am being born there. So, and then I did not have any flesh over here. So not only me subject to that sort of punishment, there were others. So they grabbed hold of me and another person and bound by a rope, my left hand, that person's right hand. And then, so in this, let's say this is a sort of a rail track type thing. And so we are opposite side, and then they send some sort of a rail cart or something over there. So this one got broken. So I did not have the hand anymore. So I attached a metal piece for that one. By that time, my punishments are over, and so they gave me a job. There are jobs in the hell. And if you are fed up doing your job over here, don't think about going and doing the job in the hell, because that's worse. I will describe the job that I was doing. Although those planets you can't live on the top of the planet, they are underneath. There are buildings underneath. There are vegetation and all those plantations, all those things are there. So I was working in a 3-story building. I'm on the bottom floor. It has got this acid pond. There was a chain next to me, a bulldozer type chain. What that chain does, on the 3rd floor, the person to be punished, he was mounted on this iron plates, 2 iron plates. They are hot. So the left leg on the left plate, the right leg on the right plate. And he is struggling to maintain that posture. And little while, this one is actually expanding. So when it is expanding, he can see he's going to fall. into the fire. So the first chamber is a fire chamber. So it's getting burned. And then the next chamber opens. So this one is actually now falling to the chamber where the wind is blowing. Those planets has got the wind blowing places as well, circulations. So this person is now getting burned like a Bunsen burner, And then the next one opens. Now only the bones are left. So I can see the various type of bones, that bended ones, because the living creatures over there has a different type of bodies, and so that those bones supposed to fall onto this acid pond, but because of the wind, it is actually going to the edge of the pond. So my job, I got a rake, I go there and take this bone and put inside this acid pond so that it will vanish after some time, because that acid is so powerful. When I look at the right side, I can see that array of ponds. That means killing machines are continued over there. So you can see the birth in hell is suffering. Even the work in hell is suffering as well. And then, so I think this is good enough to understand the suffering in the hell. And then let's look at the animal realm. You can see the animals in this world. They are suffering quite a lot. The cold, the heat. I mean, you have these jumpers and so on. They don't have those things. Cold, heat. And then they have this hunger, thirst. But we are also subject to same thing. But the suffering in the animal realm is more. It is because that they are living with so much fear. The mouse is there, cat is coming, and then kill it. While it is actually dying, by the time of dying, it is playing with the body as well. The cat in your house also living with fear. When someone is coming, a stranger is coming, this cat is actually going underneath the car or somewhere, it is hiding. Even the dog in your house also living with fear. All of a sudden open the eye and bark and so on. So what Buddha said over there in the animal world, it is often killing. So much suffering. For you to understand their suffering, you need to wear their shoes. When you have this fortunate time, sometimes the robbers are coming to your house and then taking you all the money, and they say, don't move. If you move, I will kill you. That sort of scenario. And how much fear you had. Or else you miss the bus. You are traveling and you miss the bus 12 o'clock midnight. You are coming home walking, and behind you someone else is also coming making a noise, tokos, and then you are now afraid this particular person might take my purse, might kill me, might rape me. So that sort of fear is the one that animal is having all the time. You have your fathers, friends, and so on to protect you, even the army, police, and so on. But still you are afraid. And the animal does not have even the mother to protect that creature. So much suffering in there. So the birth in animal realm is suffering. Birth in hell is suffering. And then next, look at the plane of departed. Plane of departed is sometimes we say spirits, preta. Those, I have seen one of them that taller than this house, 2-story building, that her head was like a human being, so that means small mouth, and her stomach was about 1.5 meters wide. The tall, the big stomach, small mouth. They are living with quite a lot of suffering. When you go to the plane of departed, you are actually thinking, I'm going to a really good place. That sort of arrogance is there in the first instance when you are going there. After a few months' time, then you can see that you don't have food. The food that you are getting in that world is from the merits that you transfer to them. They are living dependent on that one. So they live, 800 years and so on with that much suffering. So now you can see the birth in hell, animal realm, and the plane of departed is suffering. And then the fourth one, the human world, birth in human world. Human beings normally think that they are having a good time. That's what they think. Now, let us sort of analyze this one. To be born in the human world, you got to go underneath the mother's womb. Is the mother's womb a good place to be? I would say it's a canal of urine and excrement. If you go in this, knowing in the mind-made body scenario, and if you recall those instances where you went to the mother's womb, you can smell the urine and excrement as well. You see, if there's a toilet, I mean, if it has not been flushed, you can see, you get the smell over here. So, where you are in the mother's womb is very close to that excrement place, very close to urine place. So, wherever the excrement is there, the elements that touching that one has got that nature. And then the urine. Some people get into this wrong idea. They think that this one is a pure place. What they actually describe that one as no bacteria, that's what it is. But if you have a brain, you can think, can there be any good place underneath the skin? Just imagine. Even if you cut down your skin and put it into the dirt and the skin, when you normally say the dirt is really bad dirt. Now take the dirt and take your part of your skin and put somewhere. Ask someone to pick up. Would he pick up your skin part or the dirt part? You would be picking up the dirt part. You see, we have these wrong perceptions. Our body is good, dirt is bad. Actually, dirt is good. Our skin is that bad. So if we have a wisdom, you can see underneath the skin, there cannot be something good. So in that canal of urine and excrement, you can see there is no light, no sunlight, isn't it? And you live there for 10 months or so. So when you are coming out, you are crying, isn't it? You see, if this is a happy place, why would you cry? To come to this place, you have to cry. If you don't cry, then there's another problem. Now, when you come out, are you coming up very clean? You have so many things, dirty water wrapped around, isn't it? One intelligent mother actually told me, when the baby was born, and she was thinking, what a disgusting thing I have produced. The wisdom came. This mother actually fond of children, but wisdom came to that mind at that time. Then the baby was given, she said, please wash the baby and give it to me. So they washed. So when the baby was washed, probably you might be thinking, now it is all dirt is gone. But where is the dirt? The urine and excrement inside your body. We are like a walking toilet. We go to a meeting, we go to places with the excrement and urine hanging inside our body. So some people, they die at the birth. Some people has got this jaundice and so on. They have this sickness. Let us say you manage to live 4 years. Then your mother would be giving you a bag and say, go to school. In between you can see when you have the hunger, so you cry, and if your mother is giving something, then it is okay, otherwise you are suffering. You pass excrement, and again, if the mother is cleaning you, then it is okay, otherwise you are living with excrement. So when you are 4 years old, then you are going to the school. Are you happy going to the school? Remember those days? What do you say to your mother? Please, mom, you stay with me in the class, because your consciousness is aware of these things. What happened in the past births and so on, it is aware that other people are there. They are poking you with pencils, pens and so on, giving much trouble to protection. So, and the bullying and harassment in the school. I can remember when I was small, that when my father um, sort of bit late to pick me up, there was a chubby boy, chasing me. So I was actually going around the building to escape from that person. So you can remember your childhood, remember carrying the books and walking that many kilometers and so on. So much trouble, isn't it? And the bullying and harassment these days, is everywhere. In the school, in the office, in everywhere, even inside the house, there is this bullying and harassment. And in Australia, you can remember there was this someone, 16-year-old girl, jump out of a European girl, jump out of a building to because that people in the class is troubling her. And it is becoming more and more. Sri Lanka, we are hearing so much now that committing suicide, the young people. So if you manage to live for 18 years or so, then the other people are going to sleep and you are studying, not sleeping. I saw one person in Sri Lanka, that boy, the others went to sleep, then he took a basin and put water to the basin and put the legs inside the basin and started studying. If you study, work hard, and if you pass the exam, then it is okay. Otherwise, if you don't pass the exam, again it is suffering. Let us say you pass the exam. Now you have another problem. You need to find a job hunting. So if you find a job, then it is okay. If you don't find a job, again it is suffering. Let us say you found a job. Now when you find the job, you don't get the normally go from your home. So you are going to a boarding house or some sort of a place. So maybe you are paying the rent and so on. If you are in a boarding house, you are eating from that house, the cooking those things. And at the end of the month, you calculate. When you get the job, you thought, this is really going to be fun. That time other people are going from these cars and with the ties and so on. So they are having a really good life. We always think like that. So now I am in that class. And when you go there, you see that they are asking you to do this, do that, and so on. You are tolerating, thinking about your salary. And the end of the month, then you calculate, you have paid this rent or the boarding house fees. And then you bought a shirt or something. And then you gave father or mother some money. And what you left with? Nothing. The whole thing is gone. Now you are thinking, living from the mother was really good because she was not asking you to do anything. You didn't have to even find shirts for you because she actually doing the shopping and buying it for you. It was good, isn't it? And good food. In the boarding house, if you have stayed, I have stayed there, and the food that you are getting. One day I got this, everything made from the jackfruit, the young jack and from those ones, and some sort of small salad type thing. So you are not getting good food like that you used to get from your mother. And let us say you learn more and earn more. Now you have another problem. The problem is now you have more money. Now you are afraid that the king will take it, the taxman will take it, or the robber will take it. So now you are put in security. So much afraid about those things. And then you think that, okay, my problem, now I got some money, now my problem is I don't have a house. Let me construct a house. So you put effort and construct a house. And still the problem is not over because you don't have a husband, you don't have a wife. And so then you find it. Those who already found it, they know whether it is okay to have the husband or the wife, isn't it? And then people are saying our problem is that we don't have children. Some people are coming to meditation sessions and telling me these things, that our problem is we don't have children. So they go for an injection and then have children. And when you have a child, is it okay? You can't even sleep, isn't it? Night time, you get these noises, waking up every 2 hours, feeding the baby. You say, what a mess. And the baby is getting sick, you are getting sick as well. You have very important meeting in the office, and then the same day, the baby is sick. So now you can't go there, for which you have prepared very well before. So much trouble. And the baby, now you are thinking that your problems are over when the baby is small. The baby is small, and then when she grow up, then everything is fine. Well, is it so? The baby is 18 years old. Sometimes because of the 18-year-old baby, you can't even sleep. Let us say someone in Sydney area, let's say that the person is going to about 2 hours in the bus or train and do the work, getting up early in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock morning, cook for the husband, children and so on, and then get into the bus and you are getting squashed and so on. And then when you go to work, people are saying, you are tired, aren't you? Got up 4 o'clock, you did work, so you sit down, I will give you a coffee or something. No one is saying that one. So they say, you do this one, do that one, all the works. And so you are so tired. And in the end of the day, then again you take something to your bag and then you come home, another 2 hours of traveling. And then you actually look at the kitchen. When you look at the kitchen, then you can see you get sigh, isn't it? You get a long breath because 4 o'clock in the morning I started this one and I cooked. Now I have to cook again. So what for dinner? The others are asking. So then you cook, and then you are maybe 10 o'clock now. After eating, you are thinking, I will go to sleep. And the happiness in this life is sleeping. So you go to sleep. But now you look at the clock and look at your son is not at home yet. The 18-year-old baby is still in the uni. So you call, and then the baby is now saying, Mom, I can't come. I have assignment, maybe 12 o'clock I am coming. So mother is now sleeping on a chair because she is now afraid because the child may be driving and therefore it might get into accident. And who is that he is going to call if there was a problem? That's what mother is thinking. Father would normally go and sleep, but mother would be sort of in the chair. And then 12 o'clock come, you call the baby again, and baby is saying, Mom, I couldn't finish this one. Maybe in the morning I can come. So you see, you can't even sleep because of this 18-year-old baby. So now the 18-year-old baby now become 40. Still for the mother, the baby, 40-year-old baby. And the 40-year-old baby has got babies now. Now you are looking after the baby's baby. And then you see, sometimes you can't go to meditation session because you are looking after the baby's baby. So, and then you back bended, and then you passed away. So that's the life we are talking about. So where is the happiness in this one? Just take one day of that happy person. What he does, he takes the bag in the morning, and then you go to work. When you go to work, and so much trouble over there. Bullying and harassment is there. I mean, just take a doctor's example. Doctor is going to the hospital. She can't even put the bag on a table. Someone is running and coming and saying, please come. Nurse is coming and someone is bleeding. I can't fix it. So please come and help. Or else somebody's heart stopped. So you go there and, pumping and so on. So the whole day, what you are working with? You are working with urine and excreta. This body is full of impurities. So the doctor is working with these 32 parts of the body. You are becoming tired. And on the other hand, others, the others going to the office and there are so much bullying and harassment. So many people are there to chase you out. the performance, and that time you are not performing well and so on. The government is saying we are cutting the fund to your institution, then the job cuts and so on. Burning, isn't it? Then you get this particular problem coming to your heart. I might be included in that firing lot over there. So in the afternoon, then you buy some food and vegetables or something, put into your bag, and you are coming in that bus or train, getting pushed and so on. And then you are trying to cook again. You look at the kitchen, sigh again, and then you think what I'm going to cook. And so those ones you have actually made. These days, various type of cookers are there, isn't it? One with the glasses and the gas cookers and so on. There are so many. So you normally buy, it's not like the other persons. They got trouble, so I would go to have this type of cooker. My next door neighbor is eating from a square type table. I am going to eat from a round table. He's going to sit down this type of a chair. I am going to sit down on this type of a chair. And he's eating from this type of plate. I am going to eat this type of plate. Always there is this something, the choice that you are making, and I'll be living such and such a way. But none of them you can eat. What you can eat is what you got on your plate. Beggar is doing the same thing, isn't he? That he is also getting satisfied on the food. He beg and take it and underneath the tree, eat and throw it out. But we, around that happiness, we actually made quite a lot of things. The big car, big houses, the nice hot plates and so on. We made it. So having eaten, then your 18-year-old baby is there, then you can actually go to sleep. Let us say fortunately that baby is there. So then you are going to sleep, you are saying this is my happiness. And for there also you have actually made up king bed, queen bed and so on. But you are actually sleeping in a sort of a 8-inch and a 5.5 feet sort of area. The rest of the bed is in your mind. And I'm living in such and such a thing. But can you sleep to one side? You are trying to sleep to one side. Can you sleep? And little while later you can see it is getting heated up. So you are changing your posture. Even in the chair you can see you take your leg back and put in front and so on. Your back you are actually erecting and so on. Why do we do that? Because it's suffering. Pedagogodesa says that if you do not contemplate why you change the posture, you would not understand the suffering. We change our postures because of the suffering. When we sit down, it is painful, so we stand up. When we walk, it is suffering, painful, so we sit down. So all the time we change our postures because of the suffering. So you can understand the suffering by contemplating about this, why we change our postures. Normal people take these things as granted. They think, oh, well, that's the natural way, that's the way to live. But that is how the suffering is. We need to think. So this person, if that person saw a nightmare also, then there is this much suffering. Otherwise, in the morning when you get up, then these discharges are there. So you are going to clean up those things. And some people, going to the toilet, I have seen, they are taking a magazine these days. Because that job is also a big job. It's actually a big job in the sense that when people become old, they get this constipation. Either they get the constipation or they get the loose motions. Sometimes they pass excrement and urine on the bed. So even for a dog, if it get constipation, that means it's the end of life. It can't do it. So much suffering over there. And then you go to work, and you can see we get the suffering again. People are bullying and harassment and all the work over there. So where is the happiness? You can see, if you define the happiness as when you are eating, you got the pleasure from here to here. That's all. And then after that, there is no happiness. So you put out another one, another bite, and so on to get the happiness. But it is only 10 minutes or so, isn't it? I mean, you can eat hours and hours, but you can see it is you are eating very little. In between, you get a big gap in that case. So you can see it's only sort of a 10 minutes sort of a thing. For that 10 minutes, how much work you did? You got up early morning, cooked, and you went to the work, driving or getting into a bus or something. And then you work 8 hours, coming back from the bus, another 2 hours or so. So you add them up, you are doing a 10 hours or so to just get the 10 minutes of happiness. So it's not proportional. So much suffering. So you can see the human world, it is suffering. So the birth in hell, animal realm, plane of departed, human world, it is suffering. And let's look at the divine world. In the divine worlds, you might have heard that there was a war. So if there is a war, you can see there is this suffering. And I can tell you, I was born in the divine world. The 17th birth backward, I was born there. And in that time when I was young, I was actually drinking alcohol. So if that world is so pleasurable, why would I drink alcohol? They get the smell of the sort of flowers, that sort of thing, that they can actually get drunk from that one. So there is suffering in the divine world. First, where is this divine world? There is this axis. The South Pole is there and the North Pole is there. The South Pole to North Pole, there is an axis. So if you extend that axis, then you can see, then you are going to far away. To the right side, there is this Chatur Maharaj, first divine world, and then the left side you can see this Taudinsa, Yam, and they are bigger worlds. So those worlds, then you go in that axis further, you can see the Brahma worlds as well. So that's where the divine worlds are. So what is the similarity? What is the difference between this world and the divine world? Well, to begin with, divine worlds are really big compared to ours, and much population there as well compared to human worlds. And this when we look at the human world and the divine world, we do have these houses. They do have houses. Their houses are bigger and beautiful than ours. And we do have roads. They do have roads as well. Their roads are bigger and nicer, clean. And then we do have vehicles. They do have vehicles as well. There are 3 types of vehicles they do have in that world. And then we do have this, theme parks, playing grounds and so on. They also have that one. We have jobs. They do have jobs. So now you can see, we have jealousy. They do have jealousy. So the whole thing, whatever thing we have, they do have. And now their ones is better. That's all. So what's the difference? The difference is, in this world, you live only 80 years. In that world, you live the first divine world 10 million years. From the earth lifespan, you can see this 10 million. Next one, 36 million years. And it goes on. And the last one, 8 billion years, the sensual desire world. So you can see the difference is that they live longer. We live very short time. We are dying and being born, reborn and so on. They live for a long time. Even if you invest on a property, these days you can see after a long time you get quite a lot of value out of that one. So similarly in that world. But its suffering is there. So what you need to do, multiply whatever thing you have, some sort of a factor, so that you can see the suffering is there. So the birth in hell, animal realm, the plane of departed, human world and the divine world is all suffering. Then we take the Brahma world. If I give you an example, the Abhasara Brahma world, Dutiya Dhyana, the second Dhyana level Brahma world, it says Priti Bhakka Bhavisati. They live from delight. So what will happen if you don't have the happiness? If you don't have the happiness, that means it's like that you have not eaten compared to this world. So the feeling changes, and there is this suffering in that world. So you can see then all the six worlds we were talking about, the hell, animal realm, the plane of departed, the human world, the Brahma world, divine world, Brahma world, whatever birth over there is suffering. In that case, is there anything, any place that you can close your eye and open your eye? Either way you say, I will be born in that such and such a place, and there is no suffering. There is no such a thing. There is no place for you to be born without suffering. So that is, the birth is suffering. The biggest suffering is that one. Birth is suffering. That's what we are actually explaining. And it's really worth looking at those places. And then the next one is aging. And whatever beings, whatever group of beings, there is aging. Decrepit root, broken teeth, grey hair, wrinkled skin, shrinking with age, decay of the sense faculties. That month is called aging. So you can see we are subject to this aging. Grandmother is normally not spending that much time when she is going in front of a mirror, because she remembers how beautiful she was, when she was young or she was a baby. And I saw a 4-year-old boy who was playing outside, and all of a sudden stopped playing, came inside, and then showing to his mom, this hand. The beautiful hand is no longer, the skin is beautiful, there's a small patch over there. So that even the little boy actually noticed the aging. So if the grandmother notices it, the little boy notices it, then you are in between. Then you can see there is this aging for us. And then the sickness. Buddha was talking about 48 kind of sickness in Girimananda Sutta. We have these problems, eye problems, ear problems, nose problems, tongue problems, body problems, and so on. And then we do have this cancer, the heart problems, liver problems, and so on. And because of the seasonal changes, we do have this cold, heat, and so on. And then, the hunger, thirst, passing of urine, and excrement. 48 kind of sicknesses Buddha was mentioning in that discourse. There Buddha said in the discourses that in the future there will be more sicknesses and there will be no names. Actually, we have reached that age already, that era. Some people are coming to me and saying, I have this particular sickness, and no one, doctors have tested it, they have done this scan, this test, and so on. They can't find it, but the sickness is there. So in other words, doctor can actually name it if they can actually diagnose it what it is. If they can't find it, then they can't. So we are not running out of words. What we are running out of is our ability to find what it is. We have already reached that one. In the future, going to be more and more, so much sickness. So when you see a sick person, and just don't go into arrogance. Normally people go into arrogance. If someone has got a cancer, all of a sudden what you're thinking, oh, I don't have it. That is what is coming out inside your mind. Don't let it happen. Think that I will get it. I will get it today. I will get it, today afternoon, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe next birth. That's how we should be thinking. Otherwise, that person is dying, I'm not dying. That is the arrogance you are getting. So now, So we come to birth, sickness, and then we talk. Next one is the death. And what is death? And whatever group of beings, there is this passing away, a removal, cutting off, disappearance, a death, dying and ending, a cutting off of the aggregates, a discarding of the body. That one is called the death. So this is the place that we are going to start our meditation, learn the meditation. The having seen a dead body that passed away, 1 or 2 days, 3 days, vesture in nature, the blue color, having seen that sort of a body, I can show you a dead body like this, and then you think, my body is of the same nature. I have not escaped from this one. It will become like that one. And then Buddha is asking you to contemplate the arising phenomena and the passing away phenomena of that one. For that one, we will do that meditation in a little while, arising and passing. So what we have learned up to this one is the death. So there are another terms. So we covered up to the birth, aging, sickness, and death. So there are other 8 parts: pain, sadness, sorrow, lamentation, distress, separation, union with what is displeasing and not getting what one wants. So we need to learn those things. So we learn up to death, starting from the birth, aging, sickness, and death. So what will happen to us when we die? Are we going to be born straight away, or are we sort of waiting? Some people, they straight away, they are being born. They are being born in the hell. So there's no gap for some people. When you are going to animal realm, also you are going very fast. But some human beings, out of the human beings we have today, only a very small proportion of that one will be born as human beings again. Buddha said, for any world, any realm, that many of us will be born in hell, animal realm, or plane of departed. It is true for any world, apart from those Suddhavas, the pure worlds. So out of those people, very small proportion that will be born, out of that one, another very small amount of people will be born in the human world straight away. Just imagine, this house is broken today because of a tsunami or earthquake or something. What is the chance that owner of this house to have another house in a place appealing to that person? It's a zero, isn't it? Probability is sort of zero. But there are people like kings in the world. They do have one palace. That one is broken, but there is another palace vacant somewhere. So he can go. It does not mean that king will be born, but I am trying to say there are people who have developed those skill states. So those people will be born in such a place. Most others, they live in a mind-made body. They live for 7 days. Some people are panic, and some people live 7 years, and 14 years, 21 years, and more. Mind-made body is not a birth. Mind-made body is a sort of a perfect thing. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind are perfect. You don't need spectacles or anything. It's a very light body. But it's not a birth, not an existence as such. So it's not a bhava, in other words. Because you can't conceive. You can see, you can hear, but there aren't any events in your body to digest, the material things like food that we take. There aren't such a thing, such a system in that mind-made body. So you are in the mind-made body. I can tell you that my birth, before the last one, I was in Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. I see one day my body is, lying down. I can see the backside of the body. That means I am actually in a mind-made body, above the body and looking at the body. My problem was why this body is not getting up. And later on, I can see that some people are coming, lifting up the body, and then some people started crying. Only that time I realized that I am dead. You see, you are confused. By the time of death, you are confused. You see, you came here telling your friends or relatives or whoever, I am going to this meditation session and I will come back in the afternoon. But do you know whether you can go back? You might die over here while meditating. You might die on the road. So, but you had some sort of a trust that I will come back. Similarly, in that birth, I was actually thinking, if I can put my right leg forward, I can put the left leg as well. But I managed to put the right leg. Before I put the left leg, I'm dead. So then you get the confusion, because what you think is that I am going to live, but you are no longer living. So this body was taken home, and then I could see I had a son, 15-year-old boy, who was very sad. And then to the house, people are coming, crying and going and so on. But at the end of the day, I see that they are not the one suffering. It is I am the one who is suffering. Why? Because they are eating, night time and so on. They are eating, but I can't eat. The mind-made body can't eat. It can't take food or anything like that. How many meals you are actually eating for a day? Normally you say, I'm eating 3 meals. But if you count those, taking biscuits, tea and so on, you are eating about six times. Now if you lose your lunch, you could not eat your lunch for a couple of hours, how much trouble you have your body, and you didn't have the lunch. So in other words, just imagine, if you are not eating for many days, 2 days, 3 days and so on, how much trouble you have. You can see that since you have not eaten, now this one is, there is this pain. So that is the pain that we are talking about over here. I have not eaten, I am dead. There is this death, and then after that one I am in the mind-made body. I have not been eating for many days. So this pain has the characteristic of oppressing the body, the physical body. Like that you have not eaten, it's oppressing your body. It has this characteristic. So that leads to sadness. Now you are sad, I have not eaten. So sadness has the characteristic of oppressing the mind. So now the body is oppressed and the mind is oppressed, and that leads to sorrow. The sorrow has the sorrow nature, sorrowful nature. You are sorrowing because of the sorrow. And this one is not a simple thing. Buddha is saying in a discourse that Brahmin, I am telling you something that happened in the past, that a woman lost her mother, and then she is going to these places, junctions and so on, towns, and saying, did you see my father? Did you see my mother? And so on. And having lost the father, did you see my father? And Buddha is going on quite a lengthy detail into that one. And I was wondering those days why Buddha is talking about that one so much. Now I understand this sorrow is really big thing, because we are actually going from sorrow to sorrow all the time without knowing. Whatever the changes that occur to the consciousness, and then it has this sorrow. When the sorrow is there, you are looking for a solution and thinking there is a one, but not to be found one. For example, little while ago we discussed the birth in any realm, human or divine realm or whatever it is suffering. But we always think, if this country is bad, if it is cold, I go to a hot country or something like that one. But then when you go there, then you are bombarded with those heat and so on. So everywhere it is, there's no escape from this one. So this sorrow is there all the time. Sorrow, you are going from sorrow to sorrow. From the sorrow you get the lamentation. Now your words are coming out. You are crying like people, in a funeral house saying, "Oh father, oh mother," and the words are coming out and crying. So the lamentation, the words are coming out. It has the characteristic of this verbalizing this thing, what you are affected with. Even in the mind-made body, you are thinking, how did I die? Was it a heart attack? Was it cancer? Or something like that, and you are thinking. From the lamentation, you come to the distress. So there's this distress, great distress. In a funeral house, you can see people, cry, "Oh father, oh mother," and then they collapse. So likewise here there is a distress. Now just imagine you have not eaten for many days, many years, and you haven't found a way to eat as well. In other words, you didn't find a mother's womb. So there is this distress. So you see, when there is distress, the Pali word is upayasa, and that lead to the existence. That lead to existence. You can see, when you are tired, have you noticed that you get more craving on that day? Distress is something like that. In the office, sometimes people get this, trouble, so much work and so on. They are running. I need chocolate. I need chocolate. I need coffee and so on. So likewise, that when there is distress, then that is actually leading to the existence, the bhava. It's Pedagopadesa says this thing. So from that one, then you get the separation from what is pleasing. And to understand that one, you start from the beginning. You had a baby type body, birth. It was subject to aging, sickness, and death. And now you are separated from the baby type body. Separation from what is pleasing. What you want is a baby type body. That's what you are looking for, isn't it? The people are sort of so fond of children, the babies. Why? I mean, baby has got the same thing as we do, but it's soft and so on, isn't it? So not wrinkled like our body. So that is what you are aiming for. That's what you want. Now you had a one, and it was subject to aging, sickness, and death. Now you are separated from that one. Separation from what is pleasing. When you are separated from your family, relatives, friends, and so on, it is also counted. But this one is the biggest one. This body is the biggest one you have. For if you ask a mother, what would you like? Then she would normally say, she think and say, my son. That's what I like. And if there are two sons, then someone would be asking, which son? Then the mother becomes speechless to put it out. Although she actually behaved that way. And if her heart is actually, trying to stop or something, and she would be saying, take me to the hospital. Now she's not talking about son or anything like that one. Because this is the biggest thing. Biggest creation that you have done is this creating of this body. That's your wonderful achievement. Now it is no longer there. And then that is separation from what is pleasing. Now, in the case of a mother had two children, two sons. But in your case, you have only one body. One son died, then you can see you get another one. The other one is living. But this one is gone, nothing more. So therefore you can see you have the union with what is displeasing. Now this is like, the small boy who is jumping up and down, saying, I want this toy, and so on. Mother would be saying, I can't give you that one, son, I will give you this toy. And he will throw that one out and sort of saying, I want this one. So what you want, you are actually demanding is this body. Because without it, you can't do anything, isn't it? Because you see, now for this person who is in the mind-made body, you can give him a banana or you can give whatever thing it is, but he can't consume it. To consume it, by consuming, that's how you get the happiness. But to consume it, you got to have the body. But that particular mind-made body can't eat it. So therefore, whatever thing you see is displeasing for you. So you deal with what is displeasing. So when you see someone that you do not like to see, they are also included in this one. But the biggest thing you need to think, after death, you don't have a body and you are in the mind-made body. So then you can understand it. Not getting what one wants is suffering. Not getting what one wants can be explained this way. You see, someone contemplated up to these 11 terms over here: birth, aging, sickness, death, pain, sadness, sorrow, lamentation, distress, separation from what is pleasing, union with what is displeasing. Having done that one, then he actually understands it is suffering. Now, having understood the birth is suffering, now he is saying, it would be really good if I don't have a birth. But if there is craving, you will be born. Someone subject to aging thinks, it would be good if I am not subject to aging. But if there is birth, then there is aging. Someone subject to sickness think, it would be good if I am not subject to sickness. But if there is birth, there is aging and sickness. Someone subject to death think it would be good if I am not subject to death. But if there is birth, then aging, sickness and death is there. So similarly think about all the other terms. So that is not getting what one wants, is suffering. In short, Buddha said, cling to these 5 aggregates, and that is suffering. So that one again explained in this particular document. And there are these 5 aggregates: matter, that is form, feeling, perception, volitional formations, and consciousness. So let us discuss these 5. The matter, the form. It is made from 4 great elements. That is the element of extension, element of cohesion, element of motion, and element of heat. Those 4 things are together. So the element of extension, you can see this particular remote control I can hold, so it extends. Because of this property, it takes the space. Without it, it can't take a space, occupy sort of space. Now, if this is like water, I can't hold it like this one. So there's this hardness in this one. So the hardness, softness is the element of extension. The 4 properties are together. They are inseparable. But these are the properties we are talking about. So whatever thing hard, like our body or the earth and so on, whatever thing hard, you can see the element of extension is more prominent than the other 3 in those ones. And then element of cohesion, the apo dhatu in Pali. The cohesion is the intermolecular attraction force. So you can see that this remote control and the mouse is, if I put on a table, it won't come join together. But if I have 2 water bubbles here, even the wind making them join. So there is this cohesion, attraction. So that is the element of cohesion. That means things like liquid things like water, urine and so on. The element of cohesion is more prominent than the other. And then there is this element of motion. So you can see where air is moving here and there. So the element of motion is more prominent in things like air, the moving things. And then the 4th property is the element of heat. You can see in our body there is this heat. And because of the heat that our food get digested. Even the fruit get ripened and so on because of the heat. So the fire, if you take, it has got the element of heat, is more prominent in that fire. So you can see those 4 properties, they are together, they are inseparable. And So they form what is called the form. Whatever thing we see with hard things, and the sounds, they are called derived qualities of these four elements. So that matter is made from these four great elements. And then there's this feeling. Feeling, you can see, to begin with, is three kinds: pleasurable feeling, displeasure feeling, neither pleasurable nor non-pleasurable feeling. And if you add this body factor to that one, then you can see it is 6 times. If you're sitting down on a comfortable chair, you say it is comfortable, so that you get the physical happiness. And it is uncomfortable, then you get the physical pain. So likewise, so then mental and physical, then there it is 6 kinds. And you can further divide depending on the eye, ear, nose, tongue. So those 6 elements, and then the past, future and the present. So in that way it will become 108, the feeling. And then we have the perception. From the perception we perceive. From the perception we perceive the feeling as well. Buddha said, what one feel is what one perceive. What one perceive is what one apprehend. Perception we perceive red, yellow, green and so on. And this is the one making us go in the wrong direction. You see, our perceptions are wrong. When, for example, is that you have hair in your head, so you comb it, touch it, treat it, and consider it as a beautiful thing. The same hair, if you see on a plate that you are eating, you would be saying disgusting. And if the waiter serve you like that one, you will blame the waiter. So you cannot have two perceptions. Correct, isn't it? If you are saying when the hair in the body, head, that is good, then you should be saying in the plate also, it is good. If you are saying it is disgusting while you see that one on the plate, then you should be saying it is disgusting while on the head as well. So you need to pick up the correct perception. And then we have the volitional formations. Volitional formations, 3 kinds. First is a bodily, verbal and mental. What are the bodily volitional formations? The inhaling and exhaling. That is bodily verbal volitional formations. And there is this verbal volitional formations. That is initial application, sustained application. Vitakka vichara. Without it, you can't utter a speech. And then the mental formations. The feeling, perception, volition. They are mental formations. So using those things, those actions you perform certain things like killing, stealing. And then it becomes merits, demerits. So then you can categorize the volitional formations in terms of those merits and demerits. So in that case we say meritorious formations, demeritorious formations and imperturbable. That means neither meritorious nor demeritorious in that sense. So the meritorious ones, that you give alms to Buddhist monks or do dana, charity sort of thing, they are meritorious, counted as meritorious. And first, second, third, fourth jhana also meritorious. And the demeritorious formations, you are killing animals, so they are not meritorious, they are demeritorious. Stealing and so on. And imperturbable ones, they are unshakable ones. That is the 5th dhyana, the space is infinite, consciousness is infinite. And the plane of nothing, neither perception nor non-perception. Those ones are considered imperturbable. For example, you can see in the space there is nothing to shake. If you consider the space, there is no objects over there. So it's unshakable in that sense. So volitional formations in Devout Discourse, Kajjaniya Sutta, Buddha said why it is called volitional formations. Buddha said because it construct conditioned form as form, conditioned feeling as feeling, conditioned perception as perception, conditioned volitional formations as conditional volitional formations, conditioned consciousness as consciousness. It is constructing. So that is why it is called volitional formations. It is constructing all those things. In other words, there is a table over here. How do you know this one is a table? Because your father, mother, teacher, when you were small, has shown, and there are 4 legs and there is this some sort of fat thing on the top. It's a table. Now your father, mother is not here. As soon as you see a table, this type of object, you actually assign it's a table. So you are reconstructing what you constructed before. So the original formations is the one constructing all of them. It's a very important thing to understand. So the consciousness is also constructed. So the consciousness is then 6 kinds. That is consciousness. There is this I and the form. Depending on the two, eye consciousness come to arise. Ear and the sound, ear consciousness come to arise. So similarly, you can see we have this nose, tongue, body, and the mind and the idea, phenomena. So therefore, mind consciousness come to arise. It is like when you make a fire out of wood sticks, you say wood fire. If you make it the fire from the cow dung, you say cow dung fire. If it is from the gas, you say gas fire. Likewise, eye and the form, eye consciousness, ear and the sound, ear consciousness. Is just a matter of labeling the consciousness. So Buddha said, clinging to this, 5 aggregates of clinging, and that is suffering. That was the, in short, Buddha explained this one. So regarding this, now we look at the suffering part. Regarding this one, then we are going to do a meditation. And how do we do the meditation? Remember, here we come up to this birth, aging, sickness and death. Having seen a dead body, you contemplate about the arising and the passing away phenomena. Having seen the dead body, you think my body is of the same nature. I have not escaped from this one. So you are actually letting your body lie down to that body. You visit mentally, a dead body you have seen, your father, mother, grandfather, whoever died, and you went to that funeral house. 2 or 3 days passed, and then you can see the nature of that body, and you think my body is of the same nature. That's what Buddha asks you to think, and then you let your body lie down to next to that one. Don't bury it, don't cremate it, let it be there for 7 days. What will happen? You see, our body has got 9 holes. You got 2 holes in the eye, 2 for the nose, mouth, 5. The ears you can see 7, 2 holes over there. The place you are passing urine and excrement, 9 holes. Out of those 9 holes, things will come out. Where the urine and excrement are there, then those things will come out. Just imagine on the top of carpet, there is this naked body with those 9 holes. And then those things are discharging, coming out. In my meditation, I saw my mouth, this part is gone. So the worm is coming from the nose and going inside the mouth. And one worm is coming out of the mouth and going inside the nose. So at that time, my mind became expanded. What a disgusting thing. And that means I was in mind-made body at that time. That was the expansion. So when you come to that one, then you are trying to contemplate this using the concentration meditation, the arising and passing away phenomena. So in your folder, there is this document called this concentration meditation. I think this is the first document, isn't it? Thus have I heard at Savatthi, there the Blessed One said this: Bhikkhus develop concentration. A bhikkhu who is concentrated understand things as they really are. And what does he understand as it really is? The origin and passing away of form, the origin and passing away of feeling, the origin and passing away of perception, the origin and passing away of volitional formations, the origin and passing away of consciousness. So that is arising and passing. We know that one, isn't it? We have heard for many times arising and passing, but never think that you know about this one. As soon as you put stamp, I know about this one, then that means you get the conceit, I know. So therefore you are not digging, they are not looking, therefore you will not see it. Think that you do not know. Even if you become an Arahant, still don't think, I know. Why? Buddha knows better than you. So therefore you should not never sort of think that I know. You understand to a certain extent. And what bhikkhu is the origin of form? What is the origin of feeling? What is the origin of perception? What is the origin of volitional formations? What is the origin of consciousness? Here bhikkhu, one seeks delight. One welcomes. One remains holding. And what is that one seeks delight in? What does one welcome? To what does one remain holding? One seeks delight in form, welcomes it, remains holding to it. As a consequence of this, delight arises. Delight in form is clinging. With the one's clinging as condition, the existence. The existence as condition, the birth. Birth as condition, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, despair, accountability. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. So what Buddha says here? What is the arising phenomena? That means we seek delight in form, welcomes it, remain holding to it. So what you need to do is to analyze this one using an example. The TV watching is one good example. You seek delight in TV. So that means you go in front of a TV, you press the button, this picture is not good, so you press the button again, so until you get the nice picture. So you seek delight in form. And then you sit down on a chair and then you welcome it. How do you welcome? You are telling the others, isn't it? Mom, come, there's a nice picture going on. Oh, the son, come, daughter, or whoever you call. And then say there's a nice picture. So that is you are welcoming it. The pleasure is mine. You know the European sort of statement, the pleasure is mine, is sort of welcoming it. And remains holding. So in other words, the next week, the 7:30 or whatever the time is, you are going to sit down on that place in front of that plastic box to look at it, isn't it? We are actually watching the plastic box all the time, a glass thing around the plastic. That's what it is. So, and then, so that is this remain holding. So one seeks delight in form, welcomes it and remains holding. As a consequence of this, delight arises. Delight is a funny thing. What is delight? Delight is, let us say that you actually, you eat. So you put a bite over here to the mouth and then you get the feeling. And then consciousness is aware of that feeling. And it is only lasting from here to here. After that, after the throat, then it is gone. So what do? You mix up quickly and put it back again. To do what? To generate the same feeling that you had before. And the consciousness become aware of it. And then it dies as well. Now it's like a game, isn't it? The consciousness is dying. I am actually recreating it by touching the form. That's what I do. I saw one day, I had the opportunity to see a real good instance of this one. A mother was feeding a baby. That baby was eating very fast. That baby, mother is giving a one bite and then eating it and open the mouth again. And the next bite. Nowadays we have to run around to feed the baby. But this one was eating like that one. And then, somebody was asking from that mother a question about something. And then she was saying that one is in that particular cupboard, pointing at the kitchen. And she got delayed to, mix up things. And the baby got angry because the feed is not coming in the speed that baby is wanted. So what is actually trying to do? The consciousness is there, generated, the feeling is generated. That baby wants to generate the feeling quick as possible. So take this one in long run. You have the baby type body birth, and then it was subject to aging, sickness, and death. The death means what is? That is death of the consciousness. If someone died, you can go and touch the body and see the body is there, form is there. The consciousness is no longer there. So that is the death of consciousness. So the consciousness died, so what you used to do, if it dies, then I recreate it by touching the form. Then I'm going back to the form again. So the delight, in other words, is your desire to be born again. That's what it is. So that is the delight. So delight in form is clinging. The delight now to arise, that one is the clinging. So now we are holding to that one thoroughly. I can give you a good example in Sri Lanka. There was this, Vesak day. There was this alms giving, the dansal type thing. And then people are there in a queue. And then someone, coming out of they went and take the plate and coming out. And then they said that, that the rice is vanishing. It's no longer there, and so very little left over there. So this particular place was covered with, these metal things, rotten metal things, rusted things. And these people break the queue and, jump out of those metal things. You need a tetanus injection if you touch those things. But, they would be happy to die for that, for the food. So to have this contact. So that there's so much clinging with the delight, and then there is this clinging. With the one's clinging as conditioned existence. The existence here, you need to consider this one as the existence of the craving. The very same craving for that food, the feeling, whatever thing it is, that the very same craving exists. Imagine that you have a sort of a box in your house. You have a habit, eat hoppers or jelly beans or something. Then you have a habit of putting, I ate this, then I put $5 to this thing. And or jelly beans, maybe $2 or something to that one. And you see a beautiful woman, you put $100,000 to the box. You see a beautiful man, $100,000 or $80,000 or whatever it is. A beautiful baby, $20,000. Beautiful dress, let's say $100 or so. You have a habit of doing that one. Now, let us say you are in a mind-made body and you have died. So that's why you are in the mind-made body. And you see that box. In this particular box, you see $5. Why did I have those $5? Because I want to eat jelly beans or something. So would I get such a birth to eat that jelly bean? You will get that one. You will get such a mouth to eat. But the problem is, it may not be the mouth that you are wishing for. It happened to a monk. A monk got a raw material. He was fond of that one. And while he was touching it, then unfortunately he passed away. He was born as a moth in that cloth. What the monk was actually thinking about is taking the cloth and wrapping around the body. That's what it is, isn't it? That's what the raw material do. So the moth can do that one better than the monk, because the moth can go inside the cloth. It can hide inside the cloth. Protection is there as well. Can eat it. Can pass urine, excrement and so on. Everything can be done. So this is actually the taint of existence. The characteristic of taint of existence, Baba answer is, it says prarthan, that means aspiration. Well, aspiration is for eating these jelly beans. Grantha means ties. The tie means it is time to the feeling. When you eat the jelly bean, how much of I get some sort of feeling. So you are tying to that feeling. And it says, Abhisankarakaya Sankaranti in Pali, it says that you are actually constructing the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind for that one, to have that thing. So you are constructing a mouth. So you see, to be eat jelly beans or something, you don't have to be a human being. An ant can eat it. Any creature, a fly can eat it. Like that happened to that monk being born as a monk. So that is the danger. So the existence, create existence as condition, you get the birth. With the birth as condition, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, despair come to me. And this is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. So with the TV example, you analyze it, going and word by word, what Buddha said over here. This is a dependent origination. Some people are saying that TV one is not an example because I am not watching TV. I can give you any person a good example. One day a grandmother was telling me that, son, I do not like anything in the world anymore. And outside in the garden she was telling me. Then I was asking, what about the food, grandma? And then she was saying, I don't like the food anymore either. But you need to watch what she is actually going to do next. She was actually running for the curry leaves plant to, take those curry leaves. For what? To make the curry tastier and so on. And for such a grandma, you can teach a lesson. What you need to do, take her in your car, take her to a, the fair or, supermarket. And then will be saying, buy that one, buy this one, and so on. And then you need to point out, even she is cold, does not matter. Point out, you like those things, don't you, grandma? Because she is asking you to pick up what she like. So that everybody likes this food. Having come to earth, someone is saying, I didn't come here for food. It's a completely stupid thing. We took the rotten mango. Who took the good mango? The Brahma. They went to Brahma world. They said, these are crappy food. And then they don't want it. They went over there. And we took that rotten mango. So, it is, if you are denying that I am not here for food, I'm just imagining that no food in the world. And somebody is actually saying, you come to work, I will give you $1 million as a salary. Would you go? If there are no food, no one is going, because that this is what you came for. So that one is a good example. We are doing this meditation like we are cooking using a recipe. So this is the recipe. This part of the text here is the recipe. Now you use that recipe and you cook. You take whatever food you like to eat, and then you ask yourself, do I seek delight in those things? Yes, I seek delight. Do I welcome? Yes, yesterday also I ate something and I said it is yummy, it's good for the others, so I'm welcoming it. Do I remain holy? Yes, I ate today and I want to eat it tomorrow and day after tomorrow and so on. So I am remaining holy to that thing. So then it is satisfied, this particular one, welcome and remain holy. So then as a consequence of this one, do I have the delight? Yes, I do. I have this delight because I want to be born. A small child example would be good enough. You repeatedly doing that one. Delight arises. Nandi is the Pali word here. So the delight, because of the delight, clinging. I mean, if you do not have the food that you are eating in the tasty food that you want to eat, you will be, if it is not available in the supermarket next to you, you will be traveling another 10 kilometers or so to buy it from the next supermarket. So there is this so much clinging to that one. With clinging as condition, the existence of the very same craving. And then as the existence as condition, then you will be born. So birth as condition, what you get is the aging sorrow. In other words, you sort of ask for the form, but you got a parcel. These days people are sort of asking from the internet, you buy something, wristwatch or something. Is the wristwatch is just coming as the wristwatch? It is coming, they put it under on a velvet type cloth, and then there's a box, and the box is wrapped, and then around it, bubble, these things, wrapping all those things. So when you get it, you throw out all the other things and looking for the watch. You ask for the form, but what you get is the whole mass of suffering. So with your example, you analyze it, the arising. And Buddha said same thing for the feeling. One seek delighting feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. And doing that one, and welcome it, remain whole into it as a consequence of this delight arises. And such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. Do we seek delight in feeling? We quite a lot, we do that one. You see, tomorrow we sort of, in the morning we learn meditation. In that meditation we say that why you came to this earth, and when you are coming, you are actually looking for the happiness of a woman. So that person got this happiness for a few years. A boy, for example, let us say, coming this to mother, and then when the baby is born, and sort of you can see the 5 kind of happiness is there for the baby. First, you can see today we are eating this cauliflower, broccoli, pumpkin, and so on, so many hard things. You need to boil them, isn't it? Just imagine, you can't just eat pumpkin. You need to boil and do so many things to it. So you prepare it, and then you need around 4 or 5 things to have the nourished meal. But for the baby, you get the mother's milk, and the soft milk, don't have to do anything, just suck it. So you can see the even the medicines are there inside this thing. So it's good one. And then on the other hand, mother's breast is inside that person's mouth. So there is this soothing effect, like a soother. So the 2 happiness are there. And then thirdly, you can see the mother's body is touching the baby's body. Baby is really happy to have it. I mean, you all like, when you see a little baby, you like to lift up and hold it. You think that you really like babies, that's what you are saying, but it's actually cheating. What you like, the body is very soft. When you touch it, you get the happiness, physical happiness from the soft skin. So irrespective of the color, you get that happiness. So you are holding it. So how much you are getting with your wrinkled skin, the baby is getting quite a lot. From the mother, the warmth, the protection, and everything is there inside with that one, and then the happiness is there. And that baby is feeling well. And fourthly, you can see a mother is looking at with a compassionate eye with the baby, with looking at the baby. So 4 kind of happiness. Today, do you get anyone, give you the food and with the compassion, looking at you, you eat, I wait, I watch. So, and the 5th happiness would be that baby's mother would be sort of saying some sort of singing a song. So for the ear, isn't it? So this 5 kind of happiness is there for the baby. And then what happened when the baby is about 4 years old? You can see mother got another baby. So what does mother do? She will mix up some, potato, rice and so on, and then let the baby sit down on a chair and you eat. And that this person is now trying to eat, and then is everywhere in the face, and this food, crabs around the face, and that baby does not like it. But and then try to look at the mom, whether can I come to you, mom? That's what is inside the mind. But you can't, because that the mother got another baby, brother or sister is there. So when the baby become 8 years old, or 8 to 10 years old, mother is not touching that much. So the separated, isn't it, from that feeling. and then 20 years no touching. So you can see. But today also, when does not matter what is your age, you may be very old, but you say, oh mother, that one is coming up to you. Because that word that you used to have, you are saying, it has got so many elements in it. It has got this, the protection, the warmth, the food and giving, and it's all one way, isn't it? For the baby, from the mother, it's all those things are coming. So today we are saying, oh mom, when you have this trouble, so whatever thing it is, then pain and so on, it is there. So even when you are young, you are actually thinking about that feeling you used to have when you were small. And in the young time, somebody may be touching you and go away. It may be for a millisecond you have this feeling. And then your body wrinkle now, and you are actually still thinking about the feeling you used to have when you are 20 years old. You are not going to get it, but you are actually seeking delight in it. Seeking delight all the time, what you used to have. So we do that. So Buddha said same thing. One seek delight in feeling, welcomes it, remain whole into it. By doing that one, delight in feeling come to arise. Delight in feeling is clinging. As clinging as condition, the existence as condition, the birth come to be. Same thing. So when you contemplate about the form and the feeling of the new person. So if someone is doing this one for many times, then they can actually contemplate on perception, volitional formations as well. For a beginner, I would advise to do only the matter and feeling, because those are the two things you would understand better. So this is the origin of form, origin of feeling, origin of perception, is origin of volitional formation, there is origin of consciousness. This is how we come to arise. That depends on origination. That is the most important thing that you need to understand in the meditation. And Buddha explained the other way around. And what bhikkhu is the passing away of form? What is the passing away of feeling? What is the passing away of perception? What is the passing away of volitional formations? What is the passing away of consciousness? Here bhikkhu, one does not seek delight. One does not welcome. One does not remain holy. And what is it that one does not seek delight in? What doesn't welcome? To what doesn't one remain holy? One does not seek delight into, does not welcome, does not remain holy into it. As a consequence of this, delight in form ceases. With the cessation of delight comes cessation of clinging. With cessation of clinging, cessation of existence. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. So again you take that example, and this is the recipe. You analyze it. So take the TV example, and you do not seek delight in TV, that plastic box. In other words, you are not going to switch it on. Some people are saying, I don't watch TV, but to go to somebody else and say, I don't watch TV, but there's a cricket match going on. If you want, you go and watch. Why he is actually saying that? Because the other person will watch it and tell this guy the score, who won and so on. So you are not going to welcome it. You are not going to do that one either. And you are not going to remain whole into it. So in that case, you can see the delight in form ceases. Some people think, oh, then this is really boring. Then I don't have any happiness. You see, for me to become happy, I can close my eyes. When I close my eyes, I can see I feel eyeball and the eyelid. And then it is coming over here in the forehead area. I feel the happiness over there. And then it is spreading to the whole face. When I was working in the office also, if I get 2 minutes break, I close my eyes. Then I get this pleasure. I get the rapture. Then I can do my job better than before as well. After that, on refresh. So there are better things you can do. And on the other hand, if you watch TV, do you really get the happiness? First, let's say you You went to work and you are tired and you sit down and you switch on. Then the news is going on. What is the news is saying? In Afghanistan, that bomb went on, that many small children died and so on, babies died. Oh, you are saying, so this is bad and so on. So you are going to one side and then you are blaming the other side. So there's no happiness. The person who is tired, does he need to know about what is happening in Afghanistan? You don't. And then let us say there is a drama going on and then you really like that drama. But isn't that inside that drama, there is another drama going in your mind? You are saying that girl should have married this boy, not that boy. In other words, it's not your drama they are actually showing. So wouldn't it be better for us to close our eyes and here it is your own drama. You can play it anytime you want, many times as you wish. So that there are better things than that one. So then the delight in this form ceases. With the cessation of delight, there's no nandi. So the cessation of delight comes the cessation of clinging. There's no clinging. You are not holding into watch next year, next birth or whatever it is. So there's no clinging. With the cessation of clinging, cessation of existence. In other words, you eat jelly beans, but you don't put that $2 or $5 to the box. You see a beautiful woman, you don't put $100,000 to the box. And you see a baby, you don't put $20,000 and so on. So let us say you died and you are in the mind-made body. And then when you look at the box is empty. This box I am talking about is a special box made from matter, feeling, volitional formations and consciousness. It can expand as much as it wants. It can shrink as well. So there is nothing in the box. That means there is no purpose for you to be born. So you can see the cessation of existence. That means cessation of very same craving. And that is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. You won't be born. This is the only way that you won't be born. Remember, if you are born, then whatever the realm it is, there is this suffering. Hell, animal realm, plane of departed, whatever it is, there is this suffering. So similarly, Buddha said, one does not seek delight in feeling, perception, volitional formation and consciousness. Does not remain holding to it. As a consequence of this, delight in consciousness ceases. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. So you contemplate the arising and the passing away phenomena of the matter and the feeling. Leave out the perception, volitional formation and consciousness to the third day. For a new person, that's my advice. So this bhikkhu is the passing away of form. This is the passing away of feeling. This is the passing away of perception. This is the passing away of volitional formation. This is the passing away of consciousness. So you contemplate the arising and passing away phenomena. So remember we were talking about it's like a cooking with a recipe, and this is the recipe. And you take your example and then you cook. Now having cooked once, you close the recipe. Having closed the recipe, remember we were talking about we contemplate this one when we come to the death. Looking at the dead body, you are letting your body lie down next to it, and then you do not bury it, you let it be there, don't cremate it, and then after 7 or 8 days time, and then you can see the nature of this body, and then your mind expanded and you are in the mind-made body. And then you contemplate the arising and passing away phenomena. Then having cooked with that TV example or the food example, you close the recipe. Now you ask the question yourself. That means you are going to cook yourself. How did I make this type of dead body type, this disgusting body come to arise? And then that this fortunate thing might come to you. It is because of my craving. Or it is because of my existence, the existence of the craving, bhava. That's why it come to be. So that is the fortunate movement of your life. So that is how you contemplate. So I will show you the dead bodies that I have shown you one before, and these dead bodies were taken for a monks to sort of contemplate about the death, and with the permission they leave this body as it is, not cremating it. And then you can see this is the 2 or 3 days past, and this blue colored festering nature. And then you can see this becoming swollen, the legs part, and then you can see the fleas are around the body, and then you can see they are trying to go inside this mouth open places, and they are fighting to go inside. And then you can see these things are eaten. This is what I said, the worm is coming out of the nose going inside the mouth, and a worm is coming out of the mouth and going inside the nose. At that time my mind became expanded, and then you can see this shrinking over here, legs part, and decay is there, and further decay, and then the both legs and the stomach area, and then you can see further decay and the color changing, is becoming black and so on. And then you can see it's mixing up with the soil bit by bit. So that is our life. So having seen a dead body, contemplate the arising and passing away phenomena using that concentration discourse. So that's what we are going to do.